life practice community.
Okay, it's hip day. So do you guys have something that you can use as a yoga block or a yoga block? So if not, like a hardcover book is fine, because all we're going to use it for is just like a prop underneath us. Cool. And if you don't have it, also don't need it. Maybe let me quit my WhatsApp. Sorry about that. Pillow, potentially, and potentially something to hook around your foot as like a yoga strap. So like a scarf or a t-shirt or something to hook around your foot. And then we're just going to come into a cross-legged shape. Decide what to do with the palms of your hands. If you want to land them on your legs, face down or face up. Maybe you want to place them on your heart. Whatever resonates with you. Take some deep and filling breaths in through the lungs and the chest. Drawing prana, drawing energy inwards. Prana being your breath. And as you breathe into this moment, just feel what is popping up into your mind, what is passing through. What is the energy like in your mind right now? Is it like a highway with cars rushing and racing? Cars being your thoughts. And is it more like a sky with clouds passing through? Clouds being like your thoughts. Or maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I think sometimes there is some confusion of what the goal of mindfulness is. We're not here to fight with our minds. We're not here to try and silence our minds. We're here to just be present with all of it. Because whatever we push away, whatever we resist, it persists. Shows up again, it comes knocking. So can you just be open and accepting of whatever happens for you in this moment? Whatever we resist persists. Take one more round of breath as you are. And then release your palms however they are. We're going to warm up the spine slightly with a bit of movement. So take a breath in, arms can reach up. And then when your palms connect overhead, just draw them again through heart center. We'll do this again. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. And then exhale them through heart center. And then this time when you inhale your arms up, Reach them up overhead. And can you now interlace the palms and push them up towards the sky? And then reach your hands over towards the right. Yeah, you got it. Don't worry if you go the wrong way. It doesn't matter. Come all the way back up through center and then side bend the opposite way. Whichever way you did not do. And then lift all the way up, release your grip, inhale. And then rotate into a twist. Landing your left palm on your right knee or vice versa. Gazing over the right shoulder. Nice, come all the way back through center. And then just twist the other way. And then slowly come all the way back up, big breath in, arms reach up. And then take your palms into your heart center. You're gonna make your way onto your hands and knees. Coming into a tabletop pose. And just move through some cat-cow flows. So tilting at the pelvis, lifting your heart and then lowering your belly. Let this movement be super fluid and super intuitive, just kind of moving in whatever way suits you, feels good right now. So you might come to one side and then the other. And then we're gonna make our way into our first pose to transition out of movement and into stillness. We're gonna come into a child's pose. So you're gonna take your knees wide, toes together. And if you want, you might put a little pillow underneath your body. And then just slowly start to come forward, snuggled around that pillow and rest one side of the skull or the other. And now I am a teacher as well. I teach grade 1 children. And I have been talking for like the past few months about how we have these sand timers in the classroom, these hourglass sand timers. And we have so many of them. And I'm like, this would be perfect for me to bring home to time our yin poses. And I actually have brought them because we have a holiday. So I'm just gonna tiptoe and grab them and bring your body snuggling into stillness. So I have a 2-minute sand timer and a 3-minute sand timer. So I'm gonna flip over the 2-minute sand timer since I've already been talking to you for a few moments. So in our yin practice, we generally hold our poses for anywhere between 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And there are 3 principles of Yin Yoga. To find your personal edge, to stay a while, and to commit to stillness. So what does that mean, find your edge? You're not pushing yourself to a point of pain. You're just bringing yourself into a point where you feel something. It can just be a little bit of discomfort. What do you experience while you're there? Stay there for a few more breaths. And then just slowly roll your way up to seated. And now this here is a neutralizing pose. You can just stay seated for a moment and take some deep breaths. Maybe sliding your pillow to the side and bringing your knees back in and resting your palms. Taking some deep breaths in and out. Now we're going to use our props to kind of deepen our experience here with our hips today. So I'm going to give you two options coming into the first pose. So we're going to be coming into a dragon pose, a lunge, and we're going to be on the left knee for 3 minutes. So if you do have sensitivity, you could put a blanket underneath or a towel or fold up your mat. And then your right foot is just going to step forward just simply like this with your palms on your thigh. So this is option one. If you would like to deepen the expression, you might place your block or your book on the mat and then step your foot on top. Now, knowing that the goal here is not to cause more stress or more pain. So if it is really uncomfortable, you can back off. While you guys are upright, I'm going to show you my really fun kindergarten timers. So this is the 3-minute timer. The pink one is the 2-minute timer. So I'm going to flip the 2-minute timer. It's funny, in my head, I was like, this is a great idea, but I don't even know if you guys can even see the sand on the screen. Anyway, I'll place it here. Can you guys even see that? Yeah, it's kind of far away. Okay. So hands can rest on the thigh. And then you can decide if you want to have your eyes open, gazing at a drishti point, or if you want to have your eyes closed. This is up to you. Our yoga practice, it's like a mirror. It's a mirror for how we live in the world, how we experience the world, how we react to the world. It's almost like a laboratory where we can explore ourselves. So what is coming up for you right now? Are you bored? Are you annoyed? Are you getting distracted? Don't judge yourself for how you're reacting because you are a human being. But just explore those reactions, identify those reactions. Inquire, what are these reactions teaching me about myself? What do I have to learn from this? Judging by the sand in the timer, I'm going to say we have about a minute left. Knowing that you're free to move out of the pose at any time. You do not have to stay. Just a few more breaths. And then slowly make your way out of it. You can slide the block to the side and move in any way here. So maybe like rocking back and forth. We're going to be doing another lunge on the same side, a different variation. Nice. So the second pose is going to be more like a traditional lizard pose. So there's going to be two options as well. You can stay with your left knee on the mat and have your palms on the mat, or maybe be on the elbows. Or if you want to explore a deeper variation, you're going to take your block and you're going to place it underneath your chin. We haven't done this for a while, but we've definitely done it before on the MLPC, maybe a few months ago. I bet Yasser would remember. He's nodding, he remembers. Okay, so either you stay on your hands or coming onto your elbows, and I will flip my timer that no one can see. Actually, you can see it in the other screen. I'll put it. How can I do that so that it's visible? No, that doesn't work. I'm just holding it. You guys are here for this experiment. Oops. Oh no, now I've dropped the timer. There, okay, you can see it in my other screen, in my computer screen. I don't know if that's comforting or not. So we'll be here for 3 minutes as well. So this particular practice, we are using blocks and we're using straps later on to change how we experience these poses. So you can always back off and go without props for a milder experience. Don't feel like you have to use the props just because I'm doing it. Always make it be your experience and what works for you. And our theme is whatever we resist persists. But when we learn to work with our resistances, whatever we fight against us, it stays with us until it's heard or it's seen. So maybe you can explore going towards these difficult sensations and any mental resistances that pop up, and just see if they soften. See if they lessen when we work with them as opposed to avoid them. We're almost done, just a few more breaths. Nice work. And then just make your way off of the prop. And move in any way that works for you right now. Just tap into your intuition and your authenticity. And then we'll just sit back for a moment, perhaps in crisscross or any other neutralizing pose. And I think this is kind of an interesting thing to do because it's going to allow us to really examine the difference between the right side and the left side. Right, we've stretched the front of the left quad and we've stretched through the hip flexor of the right leg. We've done 2 asymmetrical poses. Can you be so present and so aware with what's happening in your body that you can observe the differences between left and right? And then we'll take the opposite side when you're ready. So the first pose of the 2 is that lizard pose. So the block comes to the front of your mat and your right knee will stay back. And then either you just have, sorry, not lizard, dragon. Either you just have your left foot flat on the mat or you step it up onto the block. Tilt my camera slightly. Notice the top of my head is cropped out. There we go. And I will flip my timer. Placing the palms on the thigh. So when I teach grade 1, these timers are generally used for me to make the children be quiet. That's their one use in the classroom. So I say, oh, you're being too loud. You have to be quiet for 3 minutes. And then I flip this timer and then they're all screaming, the timer's over, the timer's over, when it runs out of sand. So haven't noticed any of you guys doing that yet. Maybe that's because you're adults, maybe because you're muted, and maybe it's because you can't see. I don't know. But don't worry, I'm keeping my eye on it. Unlike with the grade 1s, when I pretend I don't notice the sand timer is over and I wait for a kid to notice, I'm being mindful of it right now. I'm watching it. Because I know that these poses are hard. I know holding them for a long time is hard. And just remember that the pose will pass. 3 minutes will pass. This class will pass. It's not going to take forever. You're not going to be in this pose forever. Just stay in the present moment for a few more breaths. Stay in the present pose for a few more breaths. Can you lean into it instead of running away from it? And what can you learn from leaning into it? Don't worry, the timer is almost over. And then just release that. So when the timer is over in class, we say, the timer is over. You may speak quietly. So the timer is over. You may move mindfully. That's a good one. In any way, shape, or form. And then when you're ready, taking the opposite side, not the opposite side, I lied, the second pose. So your left knee stays back. You lift your left knee off the mat and support your shin. Or you just have your knee flat. And then you take your left foot wide. And then have your hands either on the mat or maybe going onto your elbows. And I'm flipping the timer over. So the hip joint. It's where the head of the femur bone nestles into what's called the acetabulum, or what's referred to as this little cup of vinegar. And the word acetabulum, it comes from the Latin acet, which means acid. Now the hip region, it's tight. And this is purposeful. It's where we get stability. But it can start to feel glued together through sitting, through overexertion, through lack of activity, through injury. The problem with tight muscles is that they resist the flow of energy. It's like a gripping fist, right? It resists the flow of energy through the connective tissues, through the arteries, and they can just feel uncomfortable. So even though these poses are uncomfortable, trust me, you will feel better after, I promise. It's a really, really nice release. Just a few more breaths. Just a few more grains of sand. Take a few more breaths. Nice, you made it, you did it. 3 minutes is up. You can make your way out of it. Move mindfully, let go. And then just choose any neutralizing pose. I feel like a down dog, which is a bit more yang, a bit more active, but maybe you just want to sit back or come into child's pose.
Giving yourself a minute of whatever you need from this moment right now.
And then make your way to stand on your feet. So our next pose is called dangling pose, yay. And this can be done a few ways. You can just dangle without props, gripping your palms to opposite elbows, hanging out. There's a method I would do this in the studio where I would put a couple blocks and lay a bolster across the blocks. I'm not going to show you that right now because my cat is resting quietly and not bugging me, so I'm just going to leave her there. But if you want to prop your elbows up, or if you want to just like walk over to a piece of furniture and rest your elbows on the furniture, that's also an option. Just kind of make this practice your own. You have the permission to do so. And I'm flipping our timer now. So the physical tightening of our hips. It reminds us that the things in life that we bind to, these are the things in life that take away our freedom. We can bind our thoughts to rigid views. We can get stuck in our sense of right and wrong. We can get stuck in our habits. We can get stuck in our beliefs. I know I got really, really stuck in this idea that I was a party girl. That was my definition of who I was. And I was so stuck to it that I was afraid of what would happen when I stopped drinking. I didn't know who I would be. And what we can learn about ourselves, what we discover about ourselves from letting go, it can be beautiful if we open our minds to it. But when we get stuck in our expectations of how life or how ourselves or how other people should be, we get attached, we get tied down. We're no longer free. And it's when we finally release these things that we learn about ourselves, that we find freedom. Our timer is up, so just take one more breath. And then just gently roll your body all the way upright to stand. Letting your head balance on top of your shoulders. Taking deep breaths in and out. And then just make your way back onto seated. And so we're going to come into a butterfly shape, folding forward. And you have two options. Option one is just neutral as it is. Scooch back a little bit so you can see me. And if you want to take a little bit of a deeper variation, you're going to take your block and place it between your feet. And this is just going to kind of widen and deepen the stretch into the hips. So you can take a big breath in and then start to hinge your body forward. And maybe you can come forward so you can rest your forehead on the block, or that might be a far stretch and you can support yourself with more, maybe another block. And I will flip our timer as well here. Let your body find the moment. Let your mind find the moment. Observe what's showing up for you and don't resist it. Just lean into it. Explore and experience it. Taking a few more breaths. And then just slowly inviting your body to lift all the way back up. You can remove your blocks. Maybe take your knees in, giving your body a nice, sweet little hug. Now we're going to come onto our backs and prepare for our Shavasana. Before our Shavasana, we're just going to do a little twist. I'm going to use my pink timer, my 2-minute timer. We're going to do 2 minutes on either side. So you're gonna come all the way down. Just bring your knees into your chest. And you can prop yourself up if you like with a bolster, or you might just drop your knees to the side. And then flip your gaze in the opposite direction. I just realized I'm totally cropped out, so you guys can't see me. I'm gonna scooch a little bit further forward so you can see what I'm doing. So I have my arms open in cactus arms, and I'm just gazing over the left shoulder. My knees are going over to the right. Can you allow the spinal discs to just kind of compress here and let go of tension? Then can you just bring your knees all the way back through center? And then just drop your knees in the opposite direction. And we'll stay in the twist for 2 minutes on this side. And then slowly just come all the way up, unwinding back to neutral. And if there are any last poses or shapes that you want to make before you drop into your Shavasana, feel free. So any last little stretches or movements. Knowing that there's no right or wrong at all. And at the end of our practice, we either take a shavasana, which is a corpse pose lying on your back, or if you're more comfortable up in seated meditation, that's cool too. Really just taking any shape that's going to be a container for you to process this experience. And know that I will bring you back when the time is up. So we'll just practice a little bit of a breathing practice. Can you inhale for peace? And exhale to let go of tension. Can you inhale for wellness? And exhale to release any tightness or resistance in your body. Can you inhale for balance? Can you exhale from the core of your being? Can you inhale for patience? And exhale without rush. Taking your time. And inhale, dwelling in the transition. And then just exhale so you can begin again. Please bring positivity into my life every day. Please bring positivity into my life every day. Please bring only joy and peace and everything that is love. Please bring only joy and peace and everything that is love. Please bring positivity into my life every day. Give your body a bit of a wake up wiggle. Running a soft and simple stretch through your body. Little snuggle of your knees into your chest. Nice little hug. In this hug, can you acknowledge something that instead of avoiding, you're going to lean into, you're going to explore? And maybe if that doesn't resonate with you at all, then just ignore it. Take what you need and let go of the rest. It's all good. And then just make your way to join up in a crisscross. Hands resting at the heart center. Closing with the intention. It is an ancient intention, and it was passed to me from the heart of my teacher, who I admire a lot. And I pass it onwards to you. And it's that our practice remain steady and our efforts remain continuous, and our yoga serves and benefits all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe, be happy, be healthy, be free, and may the thoughts and actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. So we'll finish with an Om sound. We're going to breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in to make the Om. So a big breath in, big breath out, big breath in. Thank you so much for sharing the space and the practice. The light in me, it sees and honors the light that resides within each and every one of you. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining. And this class is going to be 15 minutes later on the schedule.